So, hello everyone. It's Deborah Jason here with the Marketing Blab with Deborah. I do this show most Fridays, not every Friday because we were coming upon the holidays. But many of you who have been on the show before know that I'm always excited about my guests because one of the great things that's happened with Blab and with social networking is that I've met many people, but Blab is now giving me the opportunity to actually see them face to face. And this is a first for me to meet the awesome Brian Carter. Brian and I met through probably Facebook initially. Brian was launching last year The Cowbell Principle, one of his books, and he was a guest on my blog. And so when Blab started, I reached out to him and asked him if he would be a guest on the Marketing Blab. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to, you have to point this way, I think, to Brian Carter. Brian is a digital marketer and he's a social media keynote speaker. He's a comedian. So we're bound to have a lot of fun today. And the first thing I want to ask you, Brian, is, you're an author of The Like Economy, the LinkedIn for Business book, the Facebook marketing book, the Cowbell Principle. But what do you want people to know about you that they may not? Like, for example, I know you have dogs, and one of your dogs is Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a dog that was so good looking, we had to name him Brad Pitt, but that made things weird, right? Because then Brad Pitt is always hanging around my wife, and Brad Pitt's kissing my wife, and Brad Pitt's sleeping with my wife. So I had Brad Pitt neutered, which is a good solution. But yeah, actually Brad Pitt passed away, but he was a great dog. We got two new dogs. We have Bonnie and Little Mo, and Little Mo is crazy, and Bonnie is addicted to people. Yeah, we love dogs, and dogs are great for Facebook if you can include dogs or babies. And in fact, dogs beat babies all the time, because I think there's a better chance that someone's dog will like you than someone's baby. So I think people like other people's dogs better.
I don't know if you know Brian Basilico. He wrote a book called "It's Not About You, It's About Bacon." And one of his, and it's about relationship marketing on social media. And one of his chapters is about babies, bacon, and I think it's kittens as opposed to dogs.
Nice.
But
he's on the right track.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a guest on one of my first Blabs. But one of your specialties and where you seem to shine is, well, I would say actually there's a couple of places. One is actually speaking as a keynote speaker, but also in blending comedy with what you share. And a lot of what you share is also about Facebook. But tell me about, how does that work, blending comedy and marketing together?
Well, I don't, and it works well. Sorry, say again.
I said it gives us a good laugh.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think I think people obviously a lot of people like humor. I think as an art, sometimes it's funny because my wife does theater, and I think sometimes the theater types that are into drama look down on comedy, and I think it's easy to underestimate comedy. But if you ever go to an open mic and try it, I think you'll no longer underestimate comedy. It's very difficult to do, and it has some pretty amazing effects, right? Because the thing that ties together everything that I do is results, right? So I've been direct marketing since 2005, and I started doing SEO in 1999, and then I started doing Google ads in 2004. And all I care about is getting people sales, and leads and results. And then when I started doing comedy, I went into it kind of with like a scientific Jerry Seinfeld approach, and I tried out a bunch of jokes the way I would test ads. And I went up on stage, and the ones that got laughs I kept, and the ones that didn't I threw out, the same way I would throw out ads that don't get sales. And so I care about results, and a laugh is a result, and it helps people learn, and it also is a way. I think that the part of me that makes people laugh is also a very annoying part of me. It's the part of me that says, what's up with this thing in the world that's weird, that's wrong? But I turn it into a joke in a way that people can enjoy it, and maybe get a little bit of enlightenment out of it. Maybe I can get a lesson across. And I recently did a gig, probably my biggest audience so far, 1,500 people, to the amazing.com conference. And
recently, wasn't it?
it was what?
It was recently, wasn't that?
Yeah. Yeah. Just on Sunday in Vegas. And I was doing the third day after lunch, in Vegas, where people have been out in Vegas for 3 days. And
They're
but
getting
I
ready
don't.
to fall asleep.
Yeah, but when you have comedy, you're not afraid of that spot, right? Well, they say people are more afraid, like public speaking, they're more afraid of that than dying, so they'd rather be in the casket than giving the eulogy, right? Um, but I'm not afraid to give that worst position speaking spot because I've got the comedy, because I know it's going to work. But so for me, it's a way to help people learn and keep them awake and get their attention and keep them engaged.
Yeah, well, it keeps them interested, and it keeps people, like you said, like to be entertained, but they also want to walk away with something inspiring and motivating. And I say something empowering, something they can actually use, and say, hey, that was a great presentation. It was funny, but now I can take these tips.
Yeah, and I give all the tips. The problem with teaching Facebook is it can be really overwhelming, because I think Facebook marketing is the most difficult type of marketing we've ever had, but also the most rewarding, because you have to get to know your customer better than you've ever had to know them in order to do it. It's harder than Google AdWords, it's harder than search marketing, but it's more rewarding. And so the learning curve for people is steeper. And so I don't want to overwhelm them when I teach them. If I tell people, hey, maybe the reason your Facebook ads aren't working is because you only created 2 of them, because in our campaigns where we get great results, we've got at least 20, if not 150 ads. And if you're not going to create that many ads, okay, so if you're overwhelmed by that, here's a joke. Yeah.
Well, and many people are overwhelmed by that. Now, when you say 20 to 150 ads, over what length of time are they posting those ads?
Well, yeah, that you got to do it in stages. So it's iterative, to use a big word that I could probably use a different word for. It's going to be staged out over time. And I tell people, start with the targeting, because you might think, oh, I only have one customer, or it's only one person. But when you go into that Facebook ad interface, and hopefully you're not boosting, because that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, is boosting a post instead of going to the ad manager or the power editor. And you're going to see that there are so many different targeting options, that there are a lot of different ways to slice and dice the audiences, and a lot of different ways to get to the same people. But those different ways, which we call different audiences, are going to have different costs. So you need to find the way to reach your people that's the most effective and affordable. And if you test that at the same time that you're testing a whole bunch of images and headlines and all that stuff, then you're going to be testing hundreds and hundreds of ads, possibly on the wrong people, right? You want to make sure you're testing them on the right people first, right? So that's why I tell people in the new course I have out, start by testing the targeting with a very basic ad that says, here's what I offer. And if you test that against all these different people, the ones that respond to that basic offer are qualified then as the right target for you, right? Then you can go crazy with, I want to use the crazy baby bacon image and the crazy, like, over the top headline, right? But you don't want to waste all that creativity on the wrong targets.
On the wrong audience. Well, that's, I've been in direct marketing for, too long, but that's direct marketing principle is, when you're testing, is not to change so many elements, because then you don't know what's working.
Right.
So you do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, the great thing about those, and have you done Google ads? And
I have.
Okay. The cool thing with both Google ads and Facebook ads is you have that conversion code, so that when you've got that code in, it's going to tell you, which ad and which targets and which placements and which devices, was it on iPads or iPhones, and was it the news feed, or was it the right-hand column that converted, right? So you're going to, even when you do run a lot of stuff at once, you're going to see what worked and what didn't. But if you run too much at one time, it's going to be expensive, and it's going to take a lot of money before you get enough data, because you need a significant amount of data for each thing, right? So this is one thing. So we need to hire somebody to do more Facebook ads for us. And it's tough to hire, because you need someone that's creative, understands psychology, and is analytical. right? And so then we start talking about statistical significance and the people that whose eyes roll into the back of their heads.
Now you're getting people who go,
That's right. Well, good luck then. If you know what I'm saying, you need to understand that when you get one conversion, you don't have very many data points, so you can't be very confident about that data. But the problem with statistical confidence with Google ads and Facebook ads is that if you try to get as confident as a statistics professor wants you to be, you would never have enough money to spend that much, right? So maybe you want to get 4 or 5 conversions before you make a conclusion about a particular ad or target, instead of, the professor might want you to have 50 conversions and you're like, I don't have enough much money. So
like, what's statistically significant? But, I know you say that Facebook is probably the most powerful marketing tool and the best way to advertise these days. Why do you think that's so? And I'm guessing the answer because you kind of already mentioned some of the reasons. But
yeah, well, I'll say this. I do think that so you should go where your customers are, number one. And most people are on Google and Facebook. Those are 2 great places to reach them. There are other things like Amazon and Apple and eBay, and those are great places to go for people too. And I think Google is a best practice, right? You want to get the low hanging fruit, right? So that when people are looking for what you have to offer, you're on Google. One of the problems with Google is, though, that not everybody's looking for what you have at any one time. So you can only reach the ones that are looking. And Google is very, very expensive. Okay. So some niches and some products, you cannot run Google ads because there's no profit margin. It's too expensive for you to profit. So one of the advantages of Facebook ads is you can control your costs to a large degree. The higher your click-through rate with Facebook ads, the lower your costs, and no other platform does that for you. So, we've had posts where we're getting we're getting likes on a post we're getting like 6 likes per penny because the interaction on that post is so high. Mm-hmm. We've had leads that are 15 cents. We've had new registrations for websites that are $2 or $3. Sales that are, we had a 2,200% ROI for a company that has 5 pizza delivery stores in Edinburgh, Scotland. So they spent $6,500 and got $144,000 in pizza delivery orders. So the ROI is one thing, but the other thing is you can reach TV and radio sized audiences with much better targeting than TV and radio, because you can target people by so many different targeting criteria, including email lists or people that's similar to your email lists, or interests or demographics. And then there are all these super cool things people don't even know are in there. Like you can target people by their income level, their net worth, their home value, the size of their home. Do they travel? Did they travel recently? Did they use a travel app? There's a ton of stuff in that interface that's super powerful. Every car dealership should be using them, because you can target people by what car they're most likely to buy next. Okay. So because Facebook is partnered with all these data companies that have a lot of consumer data, and it's correlated with email addresses through Facebook. So everybody's data is still anonymous, but we have all these trends and all this ability to target people. We don't, as companies, know who those people are that we're targeting, but we can put ads in front of them. So it's like being able to reach a ton of people and being able to target that specifically, then being able to control the costs. But if you find your customer's passion and you have an ad or content that resonates with them, so there's a high click-through rate, you found their passion, that lowers the cost, which ensures your profits. And you can start doing this stuff for $1 a day, $5 a day. You can't go to TV or to radio and say, I want to place an ad. I only want to spend $5 a day. Right. They'd kick you out of their office, right? So there's nothing. I mean, it checks all the boxes of awesome, basically. There's nothing.
Let's talk about that. Of course, a lot of people who are listening today are solopreneurs or maybe small business owners. So do you have a recommendation, when they're starting Facebook advertising, on a budget and how they should start, for the very first time?
Yeah, it kind of depends on their goal, right? And I like a lot of people, this is where a lot of people mess up right away, is people assume they need fans, or they assume that they need a fan market, right? So despite, I don't know if everybody's heard, right? But hopefully everybody's heard, because it's been years now since everybody got freaked out that once you got fans, your fans don't necessarily see your posts, right? So you could pay to get fans the right way, which is to use ads to get the right people as fans. Then you have to pay again to get them to see your posts, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you even like pay in the first place to get them as fans? Just pay for people to see your posts. And if they become fans in the process of that, great, right? Some people pay to get fans because they see people going to their page and they're like, they imagine people going, well, this person only has 500 fans, they must suck, right? So they're worried about that, right? But we know from the data, if you go to your Facebook fan page, a very, very small percentage of people actually go to the actual fan page, okay? And there are other strategies you can use, like put the link in your emails, put the page plug-in on your site so that people can click like from there and all that kind of stuff. And then the other question is, should you be going after emails or fans? And fans are not portable, right? If you've got 10,000 fans, you can't move them to anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if you've got 10,000 emails, you know, even though like MailChimp and certain services won't let you upload emails directly, other services like ActiveCampaign or GetResponse will allow you to just upload emails to them and start emailing. So emails are portable. So those are great. So it depends on what your goal is. You know, I always tell people, like, if you want to build a business, you need an own media list. So emails are important. If your goal is sales, you know, it's different for every business. If your goal is sales, maybe you should be going directly for sales. But for a lot of solopreneurs, especially people in service businesses, they need to develop a funnel, basically, right? They need content. They need to establish themselves as some kind of expert. They need to establish trust. They need, you know, maybe they're going to blog, maybe they're going to create videos, but they need to get people to their site. They need to get people to sign up for their email list. So they need traffic, right? So I recommend people use Facebook ads to send people directly to their site. Right. And you want to send people to some kind of value, right? So I've got this new course, but I'm not going to tell you go directly to my course. I'm going to say, hey, I've got this thing called the Facebook Super Post Swipe File, which is a bunch of posts you can use and repurpose, right? And it's free, and you can just go over there and get it, right? And I'll give you the link. So you guys who've never heard of me can go get this free valuable thing and be impressed by it and use it and get value out of it. And that's the kind of thing that you should do, right? As a solopreneur, is come up with something that creates value, right? This is kind of like Jay Baer's utility book, right? That's what that was all about, right? Is create content that's useful and give it to people, and you're making an emotional deposit in their bank, right? And you're proving your value, right? So yeah, thanks for posting that. bit.ly/superposts, right? And when you go to that page, I have a retargeting pixel on there, right? So you're going to go in my retargeting audience and you're going to start seeing Facebook ads talking about my course, right? So even if I don't get your email, you're going to still see ads from me, right?
Well, that brings us to, you know, and by the way, what Brian's referring to is in the comment section. I just posted a link to his swipe file that he mentioned. So you'll see that in the comment section, it's bit.ly/superposts. But that brings me to the question about, you know, people complaining about Facebook ads. Why do they hate Facebook ads?
Yeah. Well, and also somebody said something about dark posts. We want to address that. Like when you create an ad, one of the types of ads is a newsfeed ad that looks like a post, right? And it doesn't necessarily show to everybody. It shows to whoever you target. But yeah, okay. So why, you know, I don't know why some people hate ads. I honestly don't. But I'll tell you what I hate more than ads is nobody knowing I exist. Okay. I hate nobody knowing I exist. I hate going out of business. I hate having no leads. I hate having no sales. I hate having to go work for somebody at a job that I hate. Okay. Because I hate those things. I like ads because ads
put you in front of people.
Say what?
Ads put you in front of people.
That's right. Ads put me in front of people. And if you're doing a good job, you're getting in front of people who are going to care about what you offer, right? And if you're doing a good job with the ad and the content, like, you know, you can make it, if you're resonating, you're showing them something that they're going to be glad you showed them, right? If you show them something useful, you're going to solve a problem for them. right? For free.
Yeah.
Because you're starting out the relationship by depositing in their emotional bank with a superpost swipe file, for example, or I've got a Facebook benchmark thing that'll tell you if you're on track or not, right? Those kind of things to help people, right? To demonstrate that you can help them. And that's, the basis of capitalism is that we should be giving people value in exchange for money. Okay. Ads are supposed to tell you that there is something you might find valuable in exchange for your money. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think sometimes people have a problem with ads because, someone who does advertising puts the ad in the wrong place. So there are people who are bad at advertising or showing ads to the wrong people. There are people who create ads that aren't that good. There are people who use Facebook who believe there shouldn't be any ads on it. Those people don't understand that Facebook is a business that needs employees and money. I don't know why they don't understand that. Those are the people that want a news site like Ello to succeed, which it never will, right? I don't know why they thought that site. So another site like Facebook could come along that has all of the functionality that Facebook does right now. And there's no way that 1.55 billion people would switch over to it for no reason, right? There would have to be a really compelling reason for that to happen. And so, I don't know why some people don't like ads, but those people are missing out. Like, it reminds me when I was younger, I thought salespeople were evil, and I hated salespeople. I never wanted to sell anything.
It's when I speak, I talk to people about sell, that 4-letter word, and it's like nobody wants to be. People want to buy, but they don't want to be sold to.
Right.
And you mentioned a couple of things. In direct marketing, again, we go back to targeting. If you get a direct mail piece, and this happened to me once, I got a direct mail piece. It was about dogs. At that time, I didn't have my dog. I had 2 cats. And it was like, well, this means nothing to me because right now I'm not a dog owner. So it's really important that when you do share your message, you're solving a problem that resonates with the person who's receiving it.
Right.
So I
Absolutely.
think the Facebook ad thing, like you've been talking about, if it pops up, one of the concerns is, tell me if you've addressed this, you go online, you search something on Google, a pair of shoes, and bam, the next thing you know, ads are showing up on Facebook for that same exact pair of shoes.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like creeps people out.
And again, I think it's because it's not really applied very well. I mean, sometimes you've already bought that thing and it's still following you. And that's really because the company that's doing the retargeting hasn't done a good job of executing it well, because they haven't used the buyer file to exclude the people who bought, right? So a lot of times I think the things people don't like about ads is just poor execution of ads. And that's going to happen because there's always, like anything else in life, there are people who are great at something, there are people who are average, and there are people who are horrible at it.
Well, let's talk about that, because you mentioned that's kind of one of the mistakes people make. What are some of the biggest mistakes that companies make when they're using Facebook or when they're on Facebook?
Yeah. Well, we should go back to boosting posts because somebody asked earlier why, I mentioned that boosting posts can be a mistake, and somebody asked why that was. Sure. So, and to explain that, I need to explain how Facebook ads work, okay? Because they work with something called optimized CPM. So CPM is cost per 1,000 views. M is French or Latin for mille, which is 1,000. So it works in terms of exposures, right? And optimized means they're showing it to people who they think are going to achieve the objective you want, right? So if you go to Ad Manager to create an ad, the first thing it asks you is, what do you want to do with the ad? What's the goal? And there are 10 different types of ads, right? When you boost a post, you're only creating one type of ad, which is to promote the post. So it's only creating one of those 10 types of ads, right? Mm-hmm. The function of that boost post ad is to get you likes, comments, and shares. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it. It is not to get you traffic or conversions, right?
Right.
There are other types of ads that help you get people who will give you traffic to your site or conversions, okay? You need to go to Ad Manager to get those. So if you create a post and you put a link in it and you boost it, Facebook's going to show, they're going to take the people you targeted. Imagine there's a big circle of people you targeted. Mm-hmm. And then somewhere in there are the people that they know are going to like, comment, and share the most. They're going to show it to those people first. Those are not the people who are most likely to click on the link or to convert on your site, okay? That means when you look at your analytics, you're always going to see, wow, I got a ton of likes and comments and shares, primarily likes, because people do that 80% more, right? If you look at likes, comments, and shares, it's usually 80% likes, 10% comments, 10% shares, okay? So you're going to get mostly likes, right? Unless it's a post where you asked for a specific, like you asked a question, you're going to get a lot of comments. And rarely you'll create there's a certain types of posts that get a lot of shares. But that's harder to do, and it's rare. So you're going to see, wow, I only got a few link clicks on that post. You're going to look at the cost. You figure out the cost per click for that. It's going to be at least $1. Sometimes it's $5 or $10 or $20 per click when you do it that way, right? Mm-hmm. But if you go into Ad Manager and create an ad that's focused on getting traffic to your site or conversions, then you look at your analytics for that, your cost per click is going to be more closer to 10 cents. Okay. So you're going to be spending at least 10 times as much on your clicks if you boost a post. Okay. So it's great. Boosting posts is great if your goal is to get likes, comments, and shares. But if you want anything beyond that, you should not be boosting posts. You need to be in the Ad Manager. Okay. That's the number one mistake that people make. There's only one time that I've seen an exception to that. I did a keynote recently for a massage franchise called Hand and Stone, and they're kind of like Massage Envy, which some people have heard of that franchise as well. So this guy is a newer franchise owner in Cincinnati, and he created like some posts where he said, call in today or tomorrow. We've got, if you call in, we've got discounts for new members, or we've got a giveaway for new customers only. And so this limited time giveaway thing, or a limited time discount, he boosted it and he got customers from that. But that's the only time in the last 4 years that I've ever heard of an ROI from boosting posts. Okay.
Well, there's a comment here that someone said, I boosted posts, but never any sales from it.
Right. Because to get a sale, you've got to get a click first, right?
Yeah.
And so think about it this way, like of the people that saw your post, a percentage will click, and then a percentage of those will buy, right? And typically you get people to the site. The typical e-commerce conversion rate is 1 or 2%. People are excited about a 3% conversion rate, right? So that means you're going to have to get 33 to 100 clicks before you're going to get a sale, right? If you're boosting posts and that's costing you anywhere from $1 to $20 because you're boosting posts, that means your sale is going to cost you anywhere from $33 to $2,000. Okay. That's a dumb way to do it. Don't do that. If you want sales, you have to go into Ad Manager and create both a website traffic and a website conversion ad. Okay. Because they have strengths and weaknesses. Sometimes the website traffic ads just send people who don't convert. Sometimes the website conversion ads get so picky about who they're sending, they stop running. And sometimes the website traffic ads do convert. So you have to run both types. Okay.
So you have to test those.
Yep. You got to test those.
So Kathy is in here asking, what should you set your ad at in the optimized for section that you are not paying out the nose for clicks?
So this is a common, that's another common misconception. I've seen the same thing in Google AdWords. People get so focused, they think that by bidding, they're going to control their costs, right? Mm-hmm. You should not worry about that. Okay. Don't try to control it through bids. Okay. Try to control it by doing a lot of testing, to do a lot of good targeting and a lot of good creative. And when you find the great creative, your costs will go down. Okay. Because bidding can backfire. If your bids are too low, you will not get enough exposure. Okay. Then you'll have to go back in and check all the time to see if you're getting enough exposure. It's like stepping on the hose, basically. So you should be thinking, you should be focused. It's the same deal with Google AdWords. Like people save very, very little money by constantly managing their bids. And in fact, like in Google AdWords, when you start out with too low of a bid, sometimes you create a really bad history for your account and you never get enough impressions. So you should always bid high.
Well, we have another question here from Joe, who's saying, if you're running ads on Facebook, is there any value in having a lot of followers on your page?
Well, if you do have followers, they will interact at a higher rate than new people, for sure, if you've already got them. But it depends on a lot of things. I mean, they may or may not be better buyers. It depends on who they are and how you've treated them and all that kind of stuff, how you got them. I mean, are they qualified? How did you get them? How have you treated them? Just because they're fans, I don't know enough about them to know if they are highly qualified buyers or not.
Buyers, right.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question, sort of an aside, because I have to confess I haven't done any Facebook ads. A long time ago, I was boosting posts, but most of my engagement comes on my personal profile. I don't get that much on my fan page. So I'm asking this because I think there are people watching who are probably similar and are going, why should I keep my fan page? Now, one reason I'm thinking is because that's where you can do advertising. Right.
You need a fan page in order to run newsfeed ads. Yeah. That's the number one reason you need it. I mean, it's funny. If you go to my fan page, I guarantee you will not be that impressed. I mean, I've got 50,000 fans, but there are a lot of posts on there that don't have a lot of interaction. There are things that I post on Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and Facebook, and I don't promote all of those things. I mean, not everything that I post on my Facebook page is worth promoting, and we all suffer from that problem where organically we all reach, sometimes 6 to 10% of our fans organically or less. So, my 50,000, I may only be reaching like 2,500 people, right? Sometimes when I post. And what percentage of those are going to like, comment, or share? I may only get 25 likes. That may not look that great, right? So, it's kind of, I've had people message me and go, I thought you were a big social media guy. How come you don't have a lot of likes? It's like, well, you're looking at the wrong thing, but I don't have like 30 minutes to explain it to you. So, I'm going to just move on. You know what I mean? But I do run these ads. Like I have that Facebook page to run. I run a ton of video ads to meeting planners. I have a lot of ads that I run I have ads that I show to agencies to get them to come to my site and show that I white label my services for agencies. I've got a lot of different ads that are running that are connected to that Facebook page.
So that's awesome. And that's a great thing to keep in mind, because I have at times thought, well, maybe I should just shut down my page and stick to my profile. But it's given me a new outlook to consider, because here's someone that's asking a question. I don't know how we are on how long this answer might take, because I want to open up the seats and have some people come on board if they want. But we've got Nancy asking, she's saying, perhaps this is a naive question, but could you run us through the basic thought process or design process and selection process for ads? That might be the whole class.
Well, I mean, there's a couple ways to look at that, because there are two sides to that. One is just like the basic, how do you, what are the, like, what would be in the help screens for how you create an ad, right? You know what I mean? Like what do you put where and all that kind of stuff. The other side of it, to ensure your success, are what do you need to know? Like when like for this new product, this new course I have out, I went through my own, what I call the conversion questionnaire process, which has like 27, 28 questions in it, where I ask like, what's my target market? What are their pain points? What mistakes do they make? What lies are they being told? What are the benefits of my offering? What tips do I have for them? What are the withouts? Like what they can, like, for example, they can do my course without needing tools like Hootsuite, without being overwhelmed by Power Editor, et cetera. So, and then what are the superlatives? Like, it's the most focused, it's the course that's most focused on profits, et cetera. So I run through all those things, like 28 questions to create what I need for the ad copy. Okay. Because that way, when I create those ads, I know what to write, because you don't want to get into the ad interface and then just be going
figuring it
blah,
out
blah, blah.
Right.
Yeah. Because then you're going to create a really mediocre ad. So that's, and that's the process behind the scenes for marketing, and then there's the Facebook Audience Insights tool, which I haven't even mentioned, which has a ton of information. You can find out about your fans, either through your own fan page or through who your competitors' fans are. So then, when you think about, the first thing you need to think about when you're creating an ad is, what is your goal, right?
Absolutely.
Do you want to get a lead so you have emails? Do you want to get a sale? Do you want to get fans? Do you want to get engagement on your posts? Do you want to show a video and get views, right? Because I talked about optimized CPM. Every ad is going to achieve one objective really well, okay? So a healthy Facebook ad account is going to have multiple campaigns in it, because you may be working on the same audience, but you want to have some videos that make some points to that audience, right? You want to have some ads that send them to your site to some lead magnets, some ebooks, or like that swipe file I have to create the relationship and get the emails. Right. And if you got the emails, you've got some kind of autoresponder series that gets them to the sales page. You've got the retargeting pixel on your site. So then you've got a campaign of ads that are showing ads to people who've already been to your site, that are maybe sending them to the sales page, right? Or to a pricing page, something that's further down your funnel, right? So you have to also understand, what's your funnel, right? What are you doing for people who've just heard about you versus people who are on your email list versus people who are closer to that sale. Okay. So it's pretty, the whole system is pretty complicated. You've got to understand your funnel. You've got to have an own media plan, which is, are you doing fans, emails, retargeting, all three? So there's this, you got to have a whole system for your marketing, I mean, I don't know, you guys, there's Marketo, there's HubSpot, there's CRMs, right? And those are like marketing automation systems that might plug into Salesforce, right? Are you doing sales on the phone to close your sales, or is it e-commerce, right? Do you, then there's the whole content marketing piece, right? How many, how does your blog fit in? Like when I've got, if you look at my website, briancartergroup.com, I've got a pop-up for an email newsletter, right? But it when it pops up, it tells you you're going to get some free PDFs and stuff, right? So anybody that goes to my site for any one of my blog posts is gonna see, oh, I get some free lead magnets. That's cool, right? And I still haven't I got to put in that Superpost swipe file in there too, right? You got to put that new stuff in there. But I've already got some cool stuff in there, right? So anytime you go to my WordPress, it's a WordPress site, and you're going to see the pop-up. So you're going to get on my email list. And then that email list through Aweber has an autoresponder series, right? And so I'm going to try to drive people towards my consultancy, my keynote speaking, and now this course, right? Anytime I have something new like this, I'm going to write some blog posts that are specifically going to get people thinking a certain way. I've got this other thing that's called like 7 types of content that sell, because there's a lot of BuzzFeed content out there, right? That just makes people get engaged, right? But I believe that there is content that only leads to engagement, doesn't lead to sales. Okay. Because if you want people to buy, you need to gain authority and trust. You need to affect their emotions because people buy emotionally. You need to give them a reason why they should buy from you, not their competitors. And there's a fourth thing. Shoot. I have this great diagram for it. But then there's like 7 things you need to do. There's 7 different ways to do it. So you can dispel lies and myths, which creates authority. You can use customer testimonials. You can talk about mistakes people make in the niche that you help them solve and not make. You can talk about your unique selling proposition, which for me is, hey, I'm a social media guy that says we got to hold social media accountable for profits. That's one of my big things, right? Or I'm a guy that says Facebook ads are the most powerful marketing tool in history. You have to learn how to use them. So that's one of my unique selling propositions. So there are certain types of content you want to create in your blog or in a white paper or ebook if you're going to do lead gen. That people aren't just going to want to give you their email for it. It's going to make them think, oh, that's the person I should buy from. Yeah. So you want that content to do double duty.
Well, it comes back to the giving value, and the more value you give, the more people start to know you, like you, and trust you, and you build that KLT factor. And then at that next point, our buddy Joel Comm says, know me, like me, trust me, pay me. Right.
And I agree with Joel. Know, like, and trust is not enough. I've got this other thing I call the persuasion grid, right? So I say there's 4 types of marketing and sales. Yeah, I always come up with these new things. So there are 2 dualities, right? Some people are good at selling and hate giving, and some people are good at giving and hate selling, right? Some people like logic, hate emotion. Some people like emotion, hate logic. But if you combine those 2 into 4 things, you got giving that works on the emotion, selling that works on the emotion, and giving that works on the intellect, and selling that works on the intellect. And I've got this table. I have to make a post for it, or probably a lead gen magnet, right?
Right.
You need to use all 4 types, but I find that some people get hung up about some of those and don't use all 4 types. And so they don't. So with pay me, that's selling that works on emotions, right? Urgency. You have to buy now. Like my course right now, this is true, is $300.
Which I've been posting in the comments section. I'll post it again.
In 2016, it's going to go up because this thing should be $1,000 or $2,000. Okay. So I have to tell you, urgency wise, you should buy it now, right? Because the thing is, if you don't give people a reason to buy it now, they'll procrastinate, right? And that's true. Our first course in 2011 called Fan Reach, people bought the most every time we were going to raise the price. That's what made people buy. Scarcity, urgency. Those are 2 of the biggest selling with emotion things. And you have to be careful with them. You have to be honest about it. You have to be authentic about it. We were going to sell this course for $1,000, $2,000. We decided to start lower so that we could get a lot of new people in. That's the truth. They're like, they asked the company I'm doing this with, said, would you like to start at a lower price so we can get a lot of new people in? I said, yes, let's do that. Even though I'm like, it's worth so much more than that. I hope people don't think it's not worth a lot just because we're giving it for $300 now. But yeah, so
place to start.
Yeah.
And actually, there is another thing that you offer. It's the Facebook benchmarks. I'm going to put that URL. Do you want to talk a little bit about benchmarks?
So you need to know if you're on target or not, right? Like engagement rate is one when you post on your Facebook page. What percentage of the people that see that post like, comment, or share? It should be at least 1% of the people that see it like, comment, or share. And when you go into your Facebook page insights, if you click on to look deeper at them, you can choose engagement rate now, which is great. So it'll show you the percentage. And the average across everything is around 1%. And the better you get at Facebook posting in general, and the better you get at knowing your audience, the higher you can get it. So, when we first started doing it when we had our first clients that we posted for, we initially got to 3%, 5%, but now we've got clients where we're getting 10 to 16%. And that post swipe file I've got for you guys, those posts are all 10 to 16% engagement rate, which is super high. And yes, it helps to use animals and cuteness and humor and profound things. You just have to figure out kind of the themes that fit your audience and what you're selling, the nightmare they're running from, the dream that they're running towards, the values they have, right? The beliefs they have, and that kind of stuff. Now, Swipe File is free, and we can put that link in there again.
Yes, I will. And actually, you just said something. Hold on, I'm looking for the URL for the Swipe File. You just said something, which is something I've heard you say before, about helping fans achieve their dreams versus better to sell dreams than benefits.
Right, because benefits are helpful. Pain points, they definitely want to move away from. A nightmare story helps people visualize what they want to get away from. A dream story helps you. You want to paint the picture for people, you know. Like if I'm saying, you know, with this course, I know what I'm doing. I'm like actually selling it, but
that's okay.
You'll be able to turn on your computer and see that your latest post had like 8% engagement, and your fans are commenting, "Wow, I love this, and this is great." And you'll look at your ads, and your ads will be getting you like incredibly low cost per lead and cost per sale, and you'll be excited, and you'll feel a sense of mastery about Facebook that you haven't had before. You'll look at your competitors and be like, "Wow, they just don't get it. I'm so glad that I get this now." That's the kind of like dream story you want to write, where you're kind of painting the picture of like from like it was a novel or a TV show or something, you know, so that you can paint the picture for your customers. What are the benefits like? What does it feel like? What does it look like in your customer's daily life as a story? Mm-hmm. And that's more powerful because you always have to connect the dots for customers. You know, just customers, it's not that people are lazy. It's just that they're not going to go out of their way, right? You want to make it easy for them to buy. You want to make it a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Well, you want them to read your content and go, yes, that's me. Brian understands me. Brian gets me. I need what he's offering because he knows what I'm going through.
Right.
You know, and so that's one thing that I talk about is making sure that your message resonates with people so that they say, yes, you know, right. Yes, you get me and I want what you have to offer because I know you're going to help me. So we're running down to like our last 15 minutes. I want to give people the opportunity if they want to jump on and grab a seat to ask a question and meet you in person. So I will open up the seats if anyone does have a question and wants to jump on board and ask it of Brian rather than putting it in the comment section. There is a question right now from someone saying, what about using Facebook groups?
Yeah, those are, you know, I've seen a lot of great uses for Facebook groups. Once you have customers, it's a great way for loyalty. Once you've got the sale, I think it's a great thing the problem with Facebook groups is there's not like if they don't plug into Facebook ads really. So you can't really target Facebook groups with ads. You can't grow Facebook ad or group members with ads directly like you can pages. But once you've got a Facebook, hi Annabella, how you doing?
Hi Brian. Hi Deborah. So nice to see you.
Hi Annabella. We'll let Brian finish up what he's saying and then you can ask.
Yeah, cool. So once you've got the customer, I would definitely like email them and say, get into this group, and you can do customer support there and you can have a community. It's also a value add, right? When you say, and that's true for our course as well, as it has a community, right? And so once you join that, you're in there and I'm in there answering questions. But I've done that for my keynotes where I go and I tell the meeting planner, hey, I'll give the people the PowerPoint, and also I'm going to create a Facebook group for them to come into and ask questions whenever they want. Because honestly, people don't tend to abuse it, right? So it's a great value add.
So thanks for answering that. And this is Annabella down there. Annabella calling in from Panama.
Hey.
Yes,
awesome.
I am.
Awesome.
Hi, Brian. Well, I'm gonna try to make my question very quick.
Okay.
Concise. I didn't understand clearly when you said when you're posting an ad and you're selecting your targets. I didn't understand. Do you want to make it the target? Do you want to make it as surgical as possible or as broad? I didn't quite get that.
Got it. Okay.
I prefer. Sorry, I prefer to. I try to make it medium surgical.
Got it.
Like males 18 to 34 who watch this and that. But I would like to hear your understand your point.
Yeah, the weird thing about Facebook ads, I think a lot of people come in and they want to get really, really tightly targeted. They think that that's a smart, and that on the surface would seem like a really smart thing to do. But I think you're right to do it medium because the Facebook ad platform doesn't work very well when your targets are too small, and that's in part because you're going to get 1% of people in the newsfeed to click, and that's in the benchmarks, and then right-hand column 0.1%, right? So 1 out of 1,000 people who see your ads is going to click on a right-hand column ad. So that means if your target's only 10,000 people, that's 10 clicks total that's possible from a right-hand column ad. So, the sweet spot is 500,000 to 1 million or higher. And when you create a lookalike audience from like an email list, it's usually the smallest one is 1.9 million, right? So, if you want an ad,
I didn't understand the part of a lookalike.
So
can I jump in for 1 second because there's a couple of comments in the comment section about the lookalikes. One person is asking, can't you take a Facebook group and do a lookalike audience? My understanding, Brian, is that a lookalike means you take your email list. Not
you can do
Facebook
lookalikes
group.
from a number of things. You can do it from conversion pixels too. I'll have to check. I don't know if you can do group. I don't. Maybe they've added that. I'll have to check. I don't think you can, but
not that I know. Not that I know. That's why I am asking.
But
why don't you explain
anyways, go medium.
So a lookalike is, and typically, people do this with email lists, right? But you can do it from a retargeting audience, and you can do it from a conversion pixel. But it just means take this audience that's already in a Facebook ad custom audience and find similar people. That's what Facebook does. And I've talked to Facebook reps, and they say it's primarily through the interests. So, and if you go to Facebook Audience Insights and put in, let's say you've uploaded a bunch of emails and you've got a custom audience from your emails, and you go into Facebook Audience Insights and look at that audience, you're going to see a bunch of other pages they like, right? So probably when you create a lookalike audience, it's those people, right? Mm-hmm. People that like those pages.
Okay, I'm not gonna take more time there. Just one last thing, Ryan. I understand the lookalike now concept, but however, I don't like the that they make matches for they like the same pages. For instance, so anybody asks me to like their page and they're a friend of mine, I just put a like, and it doesn't really mean that I like them. It's just that I'm doing them a favor because. So I don't know if that's a good.
I think that what you're talking about is a different thing. What you're talking about is different. So when a lookalike, so in Facebook Audience Insights.
No. I understood that when they do the analysis, one of the things they look at is similarities, and you said that one of the similarities is that they like similar pages.
Yeah, but we're talking about statistics across thousands and millions of people. So it's like finding out, Dunkin' Donuts people like Wendy's, for example. People that like Dunkin' Donuts, they also like Wendy's. It's like that.
It's more cognitive analytics.
Yeah, it's based on millions of people.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye now. I leave the
audience.
Thank you.
Time, Brian. We have another question. Do you have time for another one?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So we've got Terry Lee. Let's see if we can get Terry Lee in here.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up, Terry? How you doing?
All right.
Do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Question is, how can I make money off of this? So I have a Facebook page for my business, for my company, and I heard about the 1%, but I was wondering who's looking at my page. No, and how can I target an audience? How can I get people to come to this page?
Well, yeah, like I was saying earlier, not very many people go back to your actual Facebook page, right? You got to be more proactive than that. You got to think about who's going to buy from me, right? Who's the ideal customer for me, and create ads that target that person and get them to your website or wherever they're going to buy, right? Think about where you're already able to sell, right? Is your website already selling effectively? No?
No, it's not.
Okay, so that's your first job, right? You got to figure out how to sell effectively online, right? And Facebook is a source of traffic for that, right? And so is Google, and so are other places. So you're going to want, the first thing you got to do is figure out how can I make my website sell? And so you're going to need a whole funnel, right? So sometimes people will set up a site. What is your service, by the way? What do you sell?
A cleaning service.
A what?
A cleaning service, residential and
Okay,
commercial.
cleaning service.
Yes.
All right. So you need a site that's going to convert. You need a site that's going to get people to either contact you, call you, put their email in or whatever, so that you can sell the service to them, right? And maybe, or you use one of those mini services out there that are third-party services that help you get business, right? And send Facebook traffic to those. But your number one concern is figuring out where and how am I going to actually sell this, right? It needs to be a website or something, right? And then you're going to use Facebook and Google and other traffic sources to get people to that, right? And figure out how to do that. But so you've got more than one thing going on, right? So because sometimes people are trying to you have to figure out what's going to work to sell, and then you have to figure out how to get Facebook to work for that, how to get Google to work for that, et cetera, right?
Correct.
So you've actually got multiple question marks going on. Because, and the reason I say that is because sometimes people will say to me, I tried Facebook and it didn't work. And I was like, so then I find out, they never had sold anything successfully before with that website, really. So, right, it could have been the website, right? Or it could have been what they did with Facebook, but we don't know. So, you got to what I would do is look at your competitors, right? Look at the really successful competitors and copy what they're doing in terms of website, so that, because probably whatever they're doing with the website is converting, right? So you could use something like ClickFunnels, or you could create a WordPress site that's similar to a competitor you have that's getting conversions, getting leads or whatever. And then you're going to use Facebook to try and target the businesses. For example, you might target businesses by name with Facebook ads, or target the type of job title of the person who hires the cleaning service at companies, and create the ad that sends them to the website that's going to sell them.
Okay.
That's the basics, but you've got a lot of work ahead of you, because you got to figure out what that website is that's going to sell for you.
Yeah.
So Terry Lee, you just got some awesome advice for free.
Right. I love Blab.
Well, thanks for stopping in. And by the way, there will be a replay of this, so you can go back and listen to it if you want to get information down again.
Great.
But thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Thanks.
I just want to let people know, remind them that there's a couple of links in the comments section. One for Brian's course, which is the Social Marketing Profits course. I'll put that back in there, which he's offering right now at, let me make sure I can type this in while I'm talking. So it's bit.ly bit.ly/FB Profit Course. And then we've got his swipe file and his Facebook benchmarks. Brian, why don't you let people know, other than these links that I'm posting, how they might reach out to you otherwise?
Yeah, check out briancartergroup.com. I'll type that in. And then I'm on Twitter, Brian Carter. And you can find me on Facebook too, pretty easily. Actually, facebook.com/brian.carter.man. It's just there because there are other Brian. There's like a ton of Brian Carters. In fact, Wikipedia thinks I'm a football player, which I'm pretty sure that's it's pretty obvious that I'm not.
No, touchdown.
I might be the water boy, but I'm not the football.
Well, I don't know enough about football except the touchdown. That's
I'm a rock climber. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, well, I like that. Well, thank you, Brian, for being here today. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to be on the Marketing Blab with Deborah. I'm Deborah Jason, and I'm the author of Millionaire Marketing on a Shoestring Budget and DeborahJason.com. And this is my awesome guest, Brian Carter at BrianCarterGroup.com. Thank you, Brian, for being here. It was great to finally meet you face to face. And thanks, everybody. You can, as I said, there will be a replay that will be on this Blab channel, and there will also be a replay on YouTube. And once I've had a chance to re-listen to it myself, I'll probably put together a blog post about it. So thanks, Brian. Anything you want to share before we sign off?
No, thanks for having me. And feel free, if you guys ever have any questions, come over to BrianCarterGroup.com and ask me. Again, thanks for having me. I can't believe we hadn't met before. I feel like we'd already met, Deborah. Thanks for having me.
I know. Well, we've been in touch for a while. As I said, one of the Facebook highlights that came up yesterday was when you posted on my blog about the cowbell principle.
Yep.
And that was a year ago. So time flies, but we will get to meet so we can give each other a hug because today's World Kindness Day. So make sure you hug somebody out there. And yes, a big virtual hug.
Yeah.
Awesome, Brian. It was great to have you here. Thank you, everyone, once again for calling in from all around the country. And we'll see you next week. We'll be talking about the power of webinars with my guest, Ellen Finkelstein. So adios, bonsoir, bonjour. Have a great day. Thumbs up to you. Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great, fabulous day. And here's to your